Talofa lava. Malo lava le soifo maua, ma le langi e mama. O loo ingo o Angie, na au whanau I tanitini. O loo tuma o whangasea, o sau mai Samoa. O loo tina o Christine, o sau mai o Waka. O loo te nofo I te karo karo, o te whai ngā luenga I le aonga te o te Komanawa Rally. O te whia tele a matangafa. O ale I le puli o le tautua. Whawhetai lava mo le awanoa, manuia le tātou aso soifua. Thank you. Tonight's event is about foregrounding women. Indigenous women talk work. What an amazing group to be a part of. I have the absolute privilege of being a deputy principal at a primary school full of love, challenges and opportunities. Statistically, it's a DSL 1A. A state housing pocket full of mostly Māori and Pacifica colour and our beautiful families. Tonight I'm going to share a bit about how I came into education, some of the stereotypes I faced as a person of colour in the education system, and some thoughts of why building relationships is important, and my heart to let our Pacifica learners know that they are enough. And how this led me to creating a toolkit so I could teach others about us, about our ways of being and knowing. I hope you'll be entertained, educated, and encouraged by these stories. Swipe right. Do you ever look back on your life and think, man, that's why I'm a little bit weird, so fresh or crazy? Raise your hands. I'm standing alone. Come on. Yeah, aroha mai. Well, for me, I'm always on the grind for wanting more. My father is Samoan. He boarded an Air New Zealand waka with the clothes on his back and a handful of English words from Lafanga in Samoa all the way to Otipoti in the 70s. He married my mother, a Palangi woman from a farm down south, and she was deaf. If I could paint you the house that made up my early childhood backdrop, I'd try paint no common language, no common culture. Lion red staining the carpet and walls, punctured with cigarette burns. Boundaries and rules set with punching hands or throwing the closest objects. Hugs were few and far between. And we only watched TV through the neighbours' windows. That's a joke. All right, tough crowd. When I reflect on my early life, it's pretty clear to me why I wanted more for myself. January 1980, it's my first day of primary school. I had the brand new bag. Hand up if you had a bag like that. It means you're under 40. You guys are sad. My socks are pulled high with pigtails just as proud. Girl, I was ready for learning. Although I'm pretty sure I cried on the first day that my mother left me. If you ask me what my favourite thing was to do as a 5-year-old, it was probably hanging on my legs and swinging on those amazing monkey bars. Probably wouldn't do that now, but it was then. And learning. Oh, did I love learning. But it's funny the things you remember, eh? Like this one time. I remembered sitting in my group reading our book for the week. My other index finger was strong as I followed each word, moulding my mouth in anticipation of holding and receiving new words. And as my tongue went to give form to those letters, provide the wonderful illustrations, my teacher said, "You got it wrong again. You're stupid." The words I went to read strangled themselves in my 5-year-old throat, and the same shut me down. The shame made me stop talking. The shame made me stop talking. The shame made me stop participating and only watch. As you can imagine, the rest of my time at school wasn't that flash. Lucky I was good at sport. And after school, I thrived in tourism and retail for many years. But again, that desire for wanting more meaning, more purpose to my work gripped me. So I went to university to be a teacher in my 30s, like 5 years ago. And I felt like I was back at school again. It was hard. The language didn't make sense. The theory was confusing. And again, I was expected to read. There was no hands-on practical learning or creative spaces and outlets that I was naturally good at. And still the racial stereotypes continued. Like that one time, we had the celebration planned and the lecturer yells out, "Angie, on Friday, can you bring your guitar? We want to do some singing." I can't even play the C, D, G, and A minor chords, if that's even a chord, on the guitar or learn or strum it. And before I knew it, my bad, I responded, "Oi, miss, can you bring your credit card on Friday? You're rich and white." Not my proudest moment. Lucky I was the student, you know. You get away with things as a student. That's just one of the small stories of some of the many stereotypes. But what made it bearable was that us as Pacifica Māori stuck together because we understood some of the struggles we all faced. And we were there because we knew if we got those degrees, we could make a real change for our families, our people, and our communities. In the Samoan culture, when you meet people, especially the elders, they first ask you what village you came from. Whose son or daughter are you? Where do you live? Then they ask for your name. This is because they want to see where you are from. See your genealogy. See your village and your name so they can see your entirety. As a teacher, I'm big on seeing our children and building strong relationships and connections. When I talk about seeing our children, I see where they come from. I see why they are like the way they are. I see what they can do. I see each child as they walk through the door in the morning. Is their ako heavy today? Do they even have an ako? How are they feeling? Are they hungry, sad, tired? Did they sleep? What do they need from me to feel safe? What do they need from me to know it's going to be okay? What do they need from me so they are able to learn? As a teacher, I'm big on building strong relationships and connections. This is the most important thing I can do. Once children feel safe, that I can understand what they bring and what they need from me to help them learn more. I have 4 nephews aged 6 to 10. Where's the oh? Oh. Right. Aged 6 to 10. They are Samoan Niuean and they live in Dunedin. And they are so very different to each other. Nua Tuatasi is kind, supportive and responsible. He's on the top left. There's twins. Viliamo is cheeky, clever and always smiling because he likes the girls. Langi Tangaloa is intelligent, creative and volatile. He wants to be, I rang him last night and I said, "Langi, what do you want to be?" And he goes, "I want to be an artist, auntie." And I said, "Okay, what happens if that doesn't work?" He goes, "I want to be a baker." And I said, "Are you sure you said baker or banker?" Yesi, he's the youngest boy on the top right. Strong, physical and cunning. I reckon he'll represent New Zealand in a sport. Siali Tapu joined us a year ago, and she's probably going to be the boss. I think about the teacher that stands in front of them. Does he, she see my nephews? Have they tried to create a genuine connection and relationship to set them up for success? Research says the major influence on Pacifica students' education achievement lies in the minds and actions of their teachers. The culture of a child cannot enter the classroom until it has first entered the consciousness of the teacher. My challenge is I want to teach all Pacifica children so they can feel and know that they are seen and that they matter. I realised I needed to support more teachers and grow my own village so they would see the children in front of them by making connections to their culture. Lucky for me, I worked with someone who helped me develop a teaching toolkit and access funding. I purely think it was because on a rant one morning about nothing being on the ground level for teachers, she got sick of that conversation. So I got some funding. I involved my nephews in Aianga in the development. It's one of our posters. Then we got to share the stories of kids and what works for them with teachers. Pretty important, that one. We built relationships to enable teachers to see their children's cultures. There's a lot of maths in these mangoes. This tree's from Sava'i. And who doesn't know? And there's a lot of maths in the manipopo. It was relating to our kids. Of course, I didn't do any of this by myself. Anyone here who knows me, I still don't read much. It's quite a lot tonight. But I have a whole village of relationships and connections, and my village guides me. They see my drive and give me opportunities for which I am always grateful. Coupled with this, I had a principal who saw my strengths in relationship building and built my capacity as a leader. I thank her for that. They also gave me the brown jobs, leading Pacifica Cultural Group, Siva, and singing, and taking staff development for cultural responsive teaching. It was a bit like bring your guitar moment. It really was. Except I was in my first year of teaching and I was the yes person. So instead of saying any of the acceptable reasons like, guys, I don't actually speak my nganga Samoa yet. I have 2 left feet and I always sing out of key. Actually, I wanted the mic today so I could show you my Vogue moves. Didn't happen. It's all right, next time. What I did say was yes. I said yes a lot, and I dialed assist for help when I was really clueless. As I got wiser, I made sure they all received an envelope. And in Samoan culture, there's some green and purple bills in that envelope to honour them. I know I'm lucky. I have a friend who graduated the same year I did, who is a gifted educator. She's fluent in Samoan, and unlike me, has a voice of an angel. She's beautiful. Pacifica teachers are very far and few between, and should be seen for their many gifts, valued and invested in. Sadly for her and many other Pacifica teachers, this is not the case. So I'm secretly scheming to bring her to my school next year. There's a village of Pacifica women in education who support each other. We are on the grind for wanting more for our Pacifica children, and we share the ways to do it. Janaya is one of these. We met at Nganga Samoa classes at Ara, and now she looks for opportunities to bring my kids to Turanga for amazing hands-on learning experiences. This has led to an invite for my children to go to Wellington next month for the MP Science Awards, the PM Science Awards. I've already got a selfie with Jacinda, so I'm all good about getting another one. Yeah. That grind for wanting more never stops. It never stops. I want more for teachers, and I'll do my best to share and teach our Indigenous knowledge so that our Pacific cultures can enter their consciousness. Because then and only then will they be able to see our Pacifica children. I want more for Pacific teachers like me, that they might be supported in higher pathways because senior leaders can see their collaborative problem solving and collective leadership potential. And I want more for my Pacifica kids, Aianga and community, that we might be awakened and see ourselves for who we truly are. We are strong, we are confident, we are enough. Scratch that. We are more than enough. We are able to teach others about how to treat us. How to treat us. Whawhitai lava malu le avanoa.